Hello everyone, welcome back to another Warhammer Total War battle. This is going to be the forces of Chaos versus the Wood Elves. I brought a very wide, very fast build here for Chaos when fighting against Wood Elves because they a lot of times have a lot of fast-moving archers that can be annoying to deal with if you do not have the speed to catch them. So I brought a whole bunch of speed. Our main line is a bunch of Forsaken, which are the decently armored, very heavy damage-dealing units that have just 5 of them here, including the Demon Spew, which is the renowned version, which comes with poison damage. And they also have the debuff that lowers melee attack by 9, I believe, around everybody. 5, sorry, not 9. They lower melee attack by 5. So they are in the center of my line. And behind them, we have also the renowned units of Chaos Knights, these Swords of Chaos, which come with the Bodyguard ability. And that's why I'm going to team them up with Archaon the Ever-Chosen, our leader here, with the buffing spells, as well as the Flaming Skull that does like the line of flaming death thing that you've seen probably 100 times. So we brought that as well. So it's going to take a little less damage with the Swords of Chaos and their Bodyguard trait as long as they're around them. Swords of Chaos are an interesting unit. They're very, very powerful, and they also have a bonus versus infantry, so that also kind of gives them a slight edge in certain matchups. They can also do pretty good just against base Spearmen too, because they're just very tanky and they do a lot of damage. But anyways, that's our main line. That's our leader and his Bodyguard, and then we also brought one unit of Chaos Knights with lances to try and fight against Wild Riders if we can catch them. And then up in the front here, we have 2 fast movers, the Marauder Horsemen, to try and shoot anything out from the sky, of which there are a couple units here. And then to round out our army of fast movers, we also have 4 Chaos Warhounds, 2 on each flank. So again, a very fast army. Like, one of the slowest things we have is going to be, I guess, our Chaos Knights. I guess the Chaos Knights are faster than the Forsaken, but still, pretty fast-moving army. So we are fighting up against the Wood Elves. You can see that they have already hit the Prey of Anathrema from the leader here of the Glade Lord, the female Glade Lord with the archery ability. So that is her ability here to net these Marauder Horsemen. They're going to be charged, and then their Glade Lord down here as well. They have a secondary Force Dragon in the air, so the air power is very strong, very impressive with the armor piercing. They're just very scary units. They have their breath weapons as well. For their mainline infantry, though, we have 2 War Dancers with Azrai Spears to try and counter, I'm assuming, any big creatures we bring and or knights. So they have 2 of them in the flanks, and then also 3 Wildwood Rangers, which we don't really see these ever. So let's take a moment here, just take a look at their stats. So they are okay in armor. They have pretty decent melee attack and melee defense stats, but they have no real just base bonus versus anything, unless they are in a forest, which then they receive a 12 bonus versus large and charge defense versus large, but only in a forest. And in a lot of cases, people aren't going to fight in a forest with a large creature if they can help it, because large creatures take a debuff in forests. But these guys are only buffed versus large in forests. So it's a really odd unit, and they're pretty expensive. Like, their stats are okay, and they have decent armor piercing damage, but they're just very expensive, which is probably why you don't see these guys that often. And it's kind of hard to utilize their anti-large ability, because again, people are going to try and not fight with large in forests. So that's probably why you don't see them too often. They're very specific. But they can deal a lot of armor piercing damage versus a Chaos line. Like, if I brought a bunch of like Chaos with great swords, then that would, or sorry, great axes, then that would be very, very scary, because then my armor piercing damage is just going to be wasted on their low armor, while they're going to be dealing a lot of armor piercing damage to my units. But anyway, so there we go. We have the Wildwood Rangers to round out their army of infantry, and then also 2 Wild Riders, 1 on this flank, and then 1 over here tucked away that I cannot see because it is currently stealth. So right now, let's get this battle going. We did get caught here, so our units are actually going to be already terror routed, and they're going to run back towards our front line, which is quickly approaching, because Forsaken are very, very fast infantry. I'm going to try and seek refuge behind them here as we try and do some chip damage to this Forest Dragon over here that is chasing us. They're now going to do a breath weapon on our Forsaken. Forsaken are kind of wide formation, though, so it doesn't do as much damage as it could have. Still a decent chunk of damage. And then this is a pretty bad move for this Forest Dragon here. This Glade Lord is actually still chasing the Marauder Horsemen. So I believe it chased them into these Forsaken, but now we have the Demon Spew and a secondary Forsaken unit that are going to be able to pin down this Glade Lord, and I'm going to beeline it with Archaon and the Swords of the Chaos to try and now kill this Glade Lord before he can get up into the sky. So this is very good for us and very bad for the Glade Lord to try and chase the Marauder Horsemen into the Forsaken. We're going to run our second Forsaken group into these War Dancers with Azrai Spears to try and keep them cut off, because Archaon and the boys of Swords of the Chaos are going to come in here and try and surround the Glade Lord. I'm trying to cast a Flaming Skull down here, but the enemy is going to respond by pulling back their Wildwood Rangers. It would have done a lot of damage to them afterwards, or during the spell, if they did not dodge, but it was a good dodge there. Forsaken here taken out by the Forest Dragon as well as the Wildwood Rangers. These War Dancers are going to do a decent amount of damage to these Forsaken over here, but just look how fast we chunk this Glade Lord. Also over here, the Wild Riders charged into our Forsaken, which is not a bad play, but we're going to countercharge with the Chaos Knights with Lances. Now, we will be charged through the back of our own Forsaken, but it's still going to do a lot of damage to these low-armored Wild Riders. They're going to take a lot of charge damage right here. But yeah, like, look, like, with a matter of moments, even with Regrowth and Earthblood cast by... Oh, by the way, they have a Spell Slinger that has the 2 heal spells. Even with those spells, though, she just got destroyed because, like, Archaon's rolling... Where's Archaon? With 522 strength right now because we have the Flaming Sword of Ruin, also hitting with the Demon Spew, as well as the Swords of Chaos, all on that poor Glade Lord, and it's not a good day for her. Anyway, the Force Dragon is going to come over here to try and assist the Glade Lord. It's a little late to assist the Glade Lord. We're going to keep chasing her, though, and the Force Dragon is going to land to try and take our attention away from the Glade Lord, but we have now shattered the Glade Lord. We have Wildwood Rangers coming in here. Chaos Puppies going on these War Dancers over here trying to assist the Forsaken. And yeah, it's too late for the Glade Lord. And now the Dragon, since it landed, I'm going to try and pin it down. We're hitting it with the Marauder Horseman. The Wild Riders over here just got countercharged and instantly destroyed by the Chaos Knights with Lances. And then the other Wild Riders ran over here to try and destroy the Forsaken, which is okay for with me, because we're keeping this other group of Wild Riders busy as we are focusing down their heavy hitters. Like, again, we already shot the Glade Lord, and now this Force Dragon, which came to save the Glade Lord, then got pinned on the ground, and it was just like a series of bad events that just stacked on top of each other that just quickly turned the tide of battle, and it's a fast fight there. But you got to be careful about the attack orders of your unit, because she attacked right... Actually, maybe she attacked the Forsaken. Maybe they willingly did that. I think they were still chasing the Marauder Horsemen after they shattered them, but in any case, they landed in the middle of a bunch of units that can deal poison damage, and then they just bogged her down. Archaon came in with a charge with the Swords of Chaos, and just... Like, the Glade Lord can't handle that. Archaon is a really powerful combatant. It used to be that you didn't really have to respect Archaon, but that's changed. Him and Tyrion just got really good buffs during the last patch, and you gotta be careful. Especially when he is protected by the Swords of Chaos, which give him the bodyguard buff, so he's not going to take much damage. So even if you try and focus him down during that, on top of even that, he has buff spells from the Fire Lore, which are really powerful and very cheap, and you should always bring them on him. And yeah, his Wildwood Rangers, like, they probably would have done pretty good. Like, they did a lot of damage to my Forsaken that they did manage to catch with the help of the Force Dragon and just even on their own. And there was some good micro to dodge the Flaming Skull, but it was just that Glade Lord dying and then throwing the Force Dragon in there to try and save her. It was too late, and then it just got bogged down. And Archaon's a beast. Like, you gotta worry about Archaon now. You can't fight him if you don't have the right situation. But anyway, everybody, let's go watch a cinematic view of some Archaon versus the Glade Lord. These Marauder Horsemen. There's the Arrow of Kurnos. Should have remembered the prey of the net of Anathrema, whatever it is, the thing that nets them. Should have remembered that the Glade Lord had that. I was like, oh crap, this is bad, and it was for these guys. But I think it may have led to actually a pretty good thing for us. Did you charge the Forsaken, or was it the Horseman? No, actually, like, maybe they just straight up charged the Forsaken. They probably didn't notice Archaon and the Swords of Chaos close, I guess. I'm not entirely sure, but that was a bad move. And the Forsaken are just a really good unit to counter those Azrais with spears. And this Glade Lord is just so outmatched over here. Maybe if both of the Force Dragons were there and a Wildwood Ranger, which I guess one's coming up, but the thing is, we have them separated by our Forsaken, which is exactly why I ran the Forsaken in here, just to stall these units long enough for them to not be able to reinforce their Glade Lord. Oh, and I guess we already missed the counter charge here. God, those poor Wild Riders. Charging into the Forsaken, not a terrible idea. Trying to keep them away from the battle. It's just that counter charge that they weren't paying attention to is really devastating. Like, we didn't even really do too much damage to these Wildwood Rangers. It's just that the enemy kind of went deep and gave us a lot of opportunities to take out their big targets. Like the Wobbin Rangers, I think they're doing pretty good against the Forsaken, for what it matters. Anyway, that's gonna do it, everybody. So thank you for watching. Beware of what you do with your Glade Lord or any hero when the Archaeon is on the prowl.